What is up, guys? Orbital-Pilot back here once again in the world of Warthunder. This time taking on the sky in the Ho-229. Now, before we get started, I just want to say a couple things. I noticed jet combat on my channel seems not only to be more popular, but 2 to 3 times as popular, which is a little shocking to me, not gonna lie. But I guess it's just because jets are later tiers, which means a lot of people don't have them, a lot of people are just breaking into them, or people just like to see jets, which I completely understand. But let's get into the real gameplay. So, 2,000 meters climbed. I was going around 480 when I first started the climb. Its energy retention is quite good. But there is one thing that kind of kills this plane. Its turn speed. Now, this plane will outturn pretty much anything on the battlefield. Actually, I'm going to go out and say this. It will outturn any plane at this battle rating, and that includes props. Now, I would not take this thing in a sustained turn fight, but for the first 1 or 2 turns, this plane will turn ridiculously fast. Not just like turn, but like somehow literally turn 180 degrees in a matter of just a couple seconds. But that both saves the plane and kills it. It will save you because, yes, you will, trust me, the enemy will not be able to keep up with that. But it also loses about 100 to 150 miles an hour in that one turn. And the acceleration of this plane is not too good. Now, it's not terrible, don't get me wrong, but this is with the engine upgrades. And I am still not able to climb up to this B-29. Now, if I had been a slightly better shot, I probably would have put rounds into him. But this was my first time flying out the Ho-229 in about 8 months. So I haven't fired Mark 103s, which, by the way, this is dual Mark 103 30mm cannons. I haven't fired these in quite a long time, so a little bit rusty, yes, but we'll get control of that. Now, if you sit at an altitude of 3,000 meters, it is like the best altitude for this plane. For a couple reasons. First things is it allows you to dive. Now, this plane won't outrun a P-80. It won't outrun an F-80. Actually, you won't have to fight F-80s, but it won't run out an F-84. It's not going to outrun a MiG-9. You're not going to outrun a lot of things. You will outrun meteors, luckily enough. But that's about it. Now, I'm going to take one more pass at this B-29 just because I hate bombers, and, well, that gives me something to shoot at. But as the altitude goes up, the less your engines are going to perform. So at around 4,000 meters, you're just going to lose a lot of airspeed. Sadly enough, no shells actually make it to that guy. Not quite sure how, but you know, sadly enough, he's still alive. Now, this is air target ammunition. Now, I would not recommend taking out anything but air target, and I will explain why here in a minute. But as we can see there, the Yak-3 fighting a jet. Now, you may say that's not balanced to the Yak-3, but trust me, it is more than balanced. This is how it would be in history, you know? We didn't really have jets at the time. The Ho-229s were going to go into production. Me-262s already were. You had stuff like the HE-162. Germans just had jets before we did, before any country did, at least in full production. So keep that in mind. Now, diving down, it will hit its speed barrier at around 600, but you're not going to be able to really keep that up. Now, if you are actually able to get to this speed, you will see you will outrun most things. But the MiG-9 is just, there's just no way. Now, there's 2 things you could do right here. You could extend and wait for him to slowly catch you, or you could pop air brakes, start doing a little bit of a crazy maneuver. I do take a shot, sadly enough. I don't even know what to call that. The right wing, the whole plane's kind of a wing though, so the right part of the whole wing, which is a little bit weird. But now, here's where the MiG-9 makes a terrible, terrible mistake. Never turn with a Ho-229. Never. Now, lucky for this guy, I am a terrible shot with these cannons. Coming from something like the F2 Sabre, yeah, totally different feel. But trust me, I'll get my revenge. Now, the cannons, like I said, have quite a high velocity, which is good. However, their speed and fire rate isn't too high, so you don't want to spray a whole bunch. Now, sadly enough, I don't get the kill. I believe, yeah, the ME-262 does get the kill. Now, Meteor comes in. You can still outturn a Meteor, but it is slightly harder than the MiGs, obviously. Now, the Meteor is probably one of the best combat opponents to the Hornet-229. I wish they had a whole match where all it was the Meteor versus the Hornet-229. And, well, this guy will be dead shortly. The speed of the rolls in this plane is not great. It's the only thing you have to look for. But once those air targets do meet up with this plane, there's no way he's coming out of that one alive. So that's one guy down. Now, the rest of the match didn't go too awesome. Basically, people just sat around, ran to the airfield. Wasn't super interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and get you guys into a little bit of a different combat. Luckily enough, I do get one more kill before that happens. But as you can see, the air targets on this plane are quite amazing. So here's another match, and the only difference about this is the way I go at it. I take ground target ammunition, which is a lot of what people say to be the best ammunition. And here's what I'm saying. It's not worth it. Take out air targets, at least in my opinion, because this is what's going to happen. Some MiG, some P-80, some F-84 is going to jump on your tail. You're not going to be able to outrun him. And when you go to fire at him, you're going to be firing ground target ammunition. Now you may say, well, it's 30mm ammunition, I should kill him either way. That is where you're wrong. Ground target ammunition is terrible at killing planes. But here's the thing about air target ammunition. You are more than capable of taking out a medium tank with air target ammunition. So with air target ammunition, you're able to kill both ground and air vehicles. With ground target, same thing. But the problem is that you're going to have to put a lot more rounds into a plane with ground target than you are in a tank with air target. So your best bet is to take out air target ammunition. At least in the current patch, this is what testing has revealed to me. Now, the reason that the shells in the ground target ammunition are so bad for taking out planes is that they're high velocity. Now, you may say, well, that doesn't make any sense. It's a high velocity armor piercing shell. It should cut the plane in half. Well, here's the thing. The thing about air target ammunition is that it explodes, which means you have an armor piercing round. You have, I'm going to butcher this name, but it's the Ming Shoot. I can't speak German at all, guys, so don't blame me there. But what it does is it actually detonates once it's inside of the plane or around the plane. So you have a shell that it literally explodes when it hits the plane. That is far more deadly than just putting holes, because all this ground target ammunition is going to do is just put tons of holes into the plane, which, don't get me wrong, will take down this F-8F, which I'm currently shooting at. But it's not going to do nearly as much as air target. Now, for some weird reason, this F-8F doesn't go into a turn right away, which is what I would have done. But you can see that I'm actually sustaining a dogfight with an F-8F for quite a long time. Now, shots went in right there, nothing happened. So, not a lot of luck. Now, my shots weren't specifically very on target, but they were hitting him. So one finally goes into his engine block. He's losing oil pressure. Yep, but he's still flying. Put more rounds into him. Put even more rounds into him. Here's a little tip, guys. If you're super close, within a tenth of a mile, switch to cockpit view. It's going to allow you to see the enemy from a different point of view. Now, that may sound a little weird, but I can explain this in another video. Basically, in something like this, in this kind of view, you're actually looking at the enemy from a elevated point of view. So when you go to shoot at them, you're actually shooting below them or above them, depending on how you're looking at them. However, in the cockpit, you are looking at them dead on. So from a tenth of a mile, you have to aim only at his plane, not above or below, and it makes it a lot easier. So guys, this is my opinion on the Ho-229. It's a great plane. Take out air target ammunition. Remember your strengths. You're not the fastest plane. You are one of the best turners on the field. But play to your strengths, and you will have tons of fun. So guys, let me know what you thought of this video down below. Let me know what you think of the Ho-229. Is it good? Do you like to fly it? Do you have it? Or do you want it? Let me know. So guys, follow me on both Snapchat and Twitter at Orbital-Pilot, same exact ones, and I will see you guys next time.